Hello, Clarice. Welcome to my shop.
Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to make a clock, but stay safe, stay alive, and everything you do. Now let's get to it. All right, so we have a cedar board, and as you may know, I'm trying to turn everything in my bathroom into cedar. Decided I wanted to make a clock. I have a tendency of being a little late sometimes in the morning, so I thought, yeah, I'll make a clock. Never made a clock, first time. What we're doing here is we are cutting a 3.5 inch wide board into about 3 or 4 pieces that are 12.5 inches long initially, and eventually they end up being about, I think it was 11 inches by 12 inches is the clock. A little bit taller than it is wide, but nonetheless. So what I'm doing here is I am actually just trimming up the sides, and yes, I'm being very careful. Most time, as you may or may not know, I try to put everything in 2 times speed so that you don't have to watch me do needless things. Doing a little sanding, doing a little gluing, and doing a little clamping. Here at Charlie Mike Woodworks, we have 2 missions. The first is bring awareness to PTSD and depression, those who suffer from those mental health disorders, and letting people know that there are better things you can do with your time. There's ways to help you cope. One of those ways is woodworking. It works for me. The second is making and trying to provide a free flag to as many veterans as we can. So we did a little sanding, some trimming up here on the edges. Next thing we're going to do is I'm making a shadow line essentially, and I'm cutting at all the sides at a 30-degree angle. And what that entails is having to turn it off, turn it back on, make a little bit of a cut, see if it's where I want it, and if it's not, okay, adjust and start back over. Always try to sneak up on it. That's what I like to do. I don't like to just jump right in, right? You can end up messing up a project, and I have definitely done that before. But this 30 degree is kind of like a reverse chamfer, I want to say, because what it does is it provides kind of like a shadow effect. Makes the piece, whatever it is, kind of stand out. Of course, here, trying to find the center of the clock, because obviously it has to be based off of the center, right? Of course, look, there it is, center. And then you get to drill the center, turn over. It's always good to start with a smaller drill bit, but what I ended up using was a 3/8 inch drill bit there. Just doing a little bit of test fitting. Now this was where it got interesting and fun. I did a little bit of routing. Of course, I took the clock guts, if you were, drew a line around it, and I kind of had to work a little bit to make it fit a little bit better and whatnot. And I'll show you here just a second. I routed out, I mean, literally about 1/4 inch from going all the way through my clock. That was kind of a scary time. Took my little Dremel 4300 with the flex shaft attachment. Amazing piece of equipment there, and I carved out the numbers. I'm using Roman numerals Then I did one of the things that I'm not very good at, painting. Now I'm going to use my nail gun because my wife said I needed to have a nail gun. Now, what we're doing is we're going to add a keyhole, and I went down about 3/8 of an inch, and it is approximately 3/4 of an inch long. That way you can mount it to the wall. Here, just using some plain old shellac. Look how, I mean, it makes it look pretty good, and it dries fairly quickly. It's pretty darn amazing. Next, what I'm doing is using some super glue essentially, and putting the guts in, and I also use painter's tape to kind of hold it in while the glue dries and cures. Hey, thank you again for joining me. That's Charlie Mike. There we are, a modern rustic clock, or rustic modern, whichever. We'll figure it out. And just find a stud, put a screw in the wall, hang it up with the keyhole like we did earlier when we made the keyhole, and it works. Well, it's time to go to work. Here I am in my Till Valhalla project, Don't Let the Hard Days Win shirt. Their shirts are awesome. Charlie Mike.